Alright, so I'm actually pretty excited about this video. The Horror Toy Factory on Wanderer turned out really good. The run was pretty smooth, and of course this will be the next instance that we're doing for the Wanderer kind of series, I guess, that we're doing. Um, Basically, it's probably just as good as doing it on Genetic, if not a little bit better. Uh, I got pretty lucky and I found one of those evil box cards. They're pretty ridiculous. Those cards, when you do magic damage, you have like a 50% chance of inflicting curse, which is like really annoying and woe. But you can see that for the first stage, we're just doing Severe Rainstorm and uh, comboing it with Double Strafe to take out the first mobs to unlock the next floor. Then we're going to go ahead to the next room. For gear, for the headgear, we're doing the Rideward hat because we have no other leech going on other than the shadow gear. And we're using Abyss dress because everything here is demon and undead. Um, we're doing the bypass where you don't have to transform into the doll and you speak to the workshop employee guys without wearing the uniform, and the dialogue triggers instantly. I missed one on accident, which is really hard to watch the second time going through it. But the rest of the run was pretty good. Plus, I found a card in this one, so I thought, well, I'll just keep it in. So this was the guy that we missed the first time. I don't know why I missed him, but for some reason I didn't see him. Uh, but yeah, that part's pretty easy to do. You can clear pretty much all of the cruisers with one severe rainstorm. Plus, with this build, we have pretty high agi, so we don't get hit all that much, and we're using a deviant fallen angel wing, so even when we do get hit, we're not taking damage. For the next room, you pretty much just do the normal route. I check the main room first. I check all the little corners and stuff along the way, just in case. I don't usually deviate from this unless I see the Antonio like up in this little room at first, and then I'll just go kill him there. But I also make sure to check the spawn room, wait there a second before leaving. And for the Antonio there, when I finally found him, that's one of the reasons I really love the build. The damage is so quick, 193 attack speed, you just melt him instantly, which is really convenient compared to Genetic, which is a lot slower to kill him, generally. Even with like Spoon and your Homunculus helping you out, it's pretty annoying. So we're just going to rebuff here before the Celine fight, getting power maximized up, shield spell, using all the agi food and dex food. Since the formula is agi based, we want to have that. Now this damage is deceivingly high. I mean, well, yeah, it's deceivingly high because each tick is just one portion of the damage, obviously, and it hits 11 times every time you cast Severe Rainstorm. The trick with Kimi is you have to kill the clone and her simultaneously without splitting up the damage. So power maximize is really good because you can see every time I hit, I'm doing the exact same damage on each entity. When I do the 60k, that's the lowest damage that I do. And if you multiply that by 11, it's 680k. Like the lowest damage is 680k per ability. And that's due in part to the fact that we're using work cap to bypass 100% of Kimi's defense. When Hawkeye procs once, um, it goes up to about 80, 90k, which is really 880k damage per severe rainstorm. And then when it double procs, we're doing 111-ish thousand damage, which is just insane. That's uh, if you multiply that all by 11, it's 1.2 million damage per severe rainstorm when that goes off, and it's hitting both of them. So technically you're doing 2.4 million DPS, but whatever. Oh, it's not damage per second either because the damage is dealt over 3 seconds. So that's another thing you have to consider when you're talking about the overall DPS. But then again, for things like uh, genetic, when you're doing cart cannon, you can only cart cannon every half a second. So if I'm doing 120k cart cannons, I'm doing 240k DPS, which is actually lower than my DPS with severe rainstorm. So I actually kill Kimi a little bit faster on Wanderer than I do on Genetic, and I use just about as many supplies. Just be careful when she powers up that you don't take too much damage and you just pot through it. And that's it. You killed Kimmy on a Wanderer. Not the hardest thing in the world. And, give it a try if you're going to make a Wanderer. Otherwise, you should make a Wanderer.